Do you know the subtle, unpleasant habits that can creep in as people age? Most seniors aren't even aware of them. Still, they tend to increase over time and can slowly erode dignity, health, and relationships. The reality is, these habits aren't always easy to spot, but once you pay attention, you'll notice how common they are. Many older adults view aging only as a physical decline, yet the deeper truth often lies in the gradual shifts in behavior. These changes can influence how others perceive you, how strongly you stay connected with loved ones, and how much joy and respect you're able to maintain in everyday life. In this video, we will talk about 9 ugly behaviors people unknowingly do more as they age. These are not guesses or myth. They are patterns observed by experts and confirmed in everyday life by families and caregivers. By the end, you will recognize whether you are falling into any of these traps, and most importantly, what steps you can take to change them. Stay with me until the end, because the 9th behavior may be the most overlooked and yet the one with the biggest impact on how gracefully you age. Once you understand these 9 points, you will have a clearer idea of what to watch out for and how to keep your later years filled with strength, respect, and connection. Now let's get started. Number 1. Declining personal hygiene. One of the first behaviors that often slips into daily life with age is a subtle decline in personal hygiene. This is not just about appearance, it is about health, confidence, and the way others perceive you. Studies have shown that as people get older, they may bathe less frequently, pay less attention to grooming, or neglect dental care without even realizing it. These small changes, when repeated, can affect not only how fresh and clean you feel, but also your risk of infections, skin problems, or even social isolation. Think about 2 women, Linda and Patricia, both in their late. Linda still makes time to shower regularly, brushes her hair neatly, and keeps up with her dental visits. She feels good about herself, and others notice her vitality. Patricia, however, began skipping showers, wearing the same clothes for days, and dismissing her oral care routine. Over time, her family noticed the change, and it quietly affected how comfortable others felt around her. What Patricia saw as a minor detail was actually sending signals about her overall well-being and independence. This decline does not happen because older adults stop caring, but because energy, mobility, or even a fading sense of smell makes it harder to keep up with routines. Sometimes, sadness or health struggles play a role, but when hygiene begins to slide, it does more than affect the body. It impacts dignity in the way people treat you. Poor hygiene can be linked to depression, reduced appetite, and a greater chance of illness. The good news is that awareness can reverse this pattern. Simple steps like setting a routine for bathing at a comfortable time of day, laying out clean clothes the night before, or asking for light support from family can make a huge difference. Small tools like grab bars in the bathroom or easy-to-use grooming aids can also make hygiene feel less like a burden. Number 2. Interrupting conversations. Another behavior that often becomes more noticeable with age. It is the tendency to interrupt or dominate conversations. Many seniors do not realize they are doing it, but it can leave others feeling unheard or dismissed. Communication experts note that as people get older, processing speed sometimes slows down, making it harder to hold back a thought before it slips away. The result is that older adults may cut in more often, not out of rudeness, but out of a desire to stay engaged. Consider 2 men, Charles and Edward, both in their early 80s. Charles listens with patience, waits for others to finish their sentences, and then responds thoughtfully. People enjoy talking with him because they feel respect. Edward, however, often cuts in when his children or friends are speaking, finishing their thoughts or steering the conversation back to his own stories. He does not mean to offend, but over time, those around him begin to share less, feeling that their words are not valued. This habit may seem harmless, but it can erode relationships. Frequent interruptions can make children, friends, or even caregivers less likely to open up. For the older adult, that means fewer meaningful connections and more loneliness. Over time, this pattern of cutting in can become one of the very reasons relationships grow distant. The encouraging part is that this behavior can be managed. Practicing simple pauses, counting to 3 after someone finishes speaking, taking a deep breath before responding, or writing down a thought to share later, can help keep conversations balanced. These small efforts signal respect and make others eager to continue talking. So ask yourself, do people around you look frustrated or stop speaking when you talk? Do you often feel the need to jump in before you forget your point? If so, it may be time to slow down and give more space. Listening more does not mean losing your voice. It means gaining stronger, warmer bonds with the people you care about. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Number 3, excessive complaining. One of the most common behaviors that grows stronger with age is the habit of excessive complaining. At first, it may start with sharing aches, pains, or frustrations about daily inconveniences, but when it becomes constant, it can wear on relationships and create a negative atmosphere. Researchers in psychology have found that frequent complaining not only lowers mood for those around you, it also reinforces negativity in your own brain, making problems feel heavier than they really are. Take 2 friends, Helen and Dorothy, both in their 70s. Helen acknowledges her health issues, but keeps her conversations balanced, finding joy in talking about her garden or her grandchildren. People enjoy her company because she leaves them feeling lighter. Dorothy, however, turns nearly every conversation into a list of complaints. Her back pain, her doctor visits, her disappointment in the news. After a while, friends hesitate to call and family members keep visits short. Not because they do not love her, but because the constant negativity becomes draining. This behavior often sneaks in because older adults genuinely deal with more discomfort and change. Talking about struggles is natural, but when it overshadows everything else, it slowly pushes people away. Complaining also affects physical health, as stress hormones rise and sleep quality suffers. In many cases, it can become a cycle. Loneliness leads to more complaining, and more complaining leads to greater loneliness. The hopeful side is that change begins with awareness. Set limits on how long you allow yourself to dwell on problems. Keeping a gratitude journal, or simply pausing to mention one positive thing during a conversation, can gradually shift the tone. Even sharing solutions instead of only frustrations can help others feel engaged rather than drained. Ask yourself, do people seem to change a subject when you talk? Do conversations often end with you feeling more frustrated than before? If so, it may be a signal that complaining has taken too big a role in your life. By replacing a few complaints with appreciation, you not only lift your own spirits, but also keep your relationship stronger and warmer. Number 4, resisting change. Another behavior that quietly increases with age is resisting change. Many older adults do not notice how often they reject new ideas, new technologies, or even small adjustments in routines. This resistance usually comes from comfort and familiarity, but when it turns into a pattern, it can create tension with family and distance from the world around you. Psychologists often remind us that flexibility is not just a trait of the young, it is a sign of mental resilience at any age. Think about 2 men, George and Harold, both in their early. George stays open-minded, learning how to use a smartphone to stay in touch with his grandchildren, and trying new foods when invited by friends. He may not love every change, but he adapts and keeps moving forward. Harold, on the other hand, refuses to touch anything new. He rejects online banking, avoids medical advice that suggests new treatments, and dismisses the changes happening in his community. Over time, Harold's world shrinks, and he feels more disconnected, while George remains engaged and in. This behavior may feel like self-protection, but in reality, it limits growth and often increases frustration. When you resist change too strongly, you risk losing chances to stay connected, to learn, or to maintain independence. Avoiding all change can even impact health, since new medical practices, exercises, or foods that could help are dismissed too quickly. The positive news is that even small steps toward flexibility can restore confidence. Trying a new recipe, asking a grandchild to show you one phone feature, or saying yes to a different walking route can spark a sense of adventure and keep the brain active. Neuroscience shows that openness to change strengthens mental pathways and can even reduce the risk of decline. Ask yourself, when was the last time you tried something new? Do you catch yourself saying, "I can't," or "I won't" before even considering it? If so, it may be time to soften that edge and give change a chance. Accepting small shifts does not mean giving up control. It means keeping your life rich, connected, and resilient. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Number 5, losing patience. As the years go by, another behavior that often slips into daily life is a shorter supply of patience. Many older adults do not notice how quickly they become irritated with small frustrations, whether it is waiting in line, dealing with technology, or interacting with younger people who move at a different pace. What once might have been brushed off as a minor annoyance can suddenly feel unbearable. This change is often linked to shifts in energy, health, or tolerance, but when it becomes frequent, it can strain relationships and create unnecessary stress. Consider 2 women, Ruth and Alice, both in their 70s. Ruth has learned to manage her reactions, taking a deep breath when something does not go her way, and reminding herself that some things are not worth the energy. Her children appreciate her calm, and friends enjoy her company. Alice, on the other hand, finds herself snapping at store clerks, scolding her grandchildren for small mistakes, or showing visible frustration when she cannot figure out a remote control. She does not mean to be unkind, but the repeated impatience creates a distance, and others slowly feel less comfortable around her. This pattern may feel like a natural part of aging, but it often hides deeper issues. Pain, fatigue, or even memory changes can reduce tolerance, making small problems feel larger. The danger is that unchecked impatience raises stress hormones, harms relationships, and can leave an older adult feeling isolated, misunderstood, or even ashamed after an outburst. The good news is that patience is a skill that can be strengthened even later in life. Practicing mindfulness, pausing before responding, or simply naming the feeling out loud, "I feel frustrated right now," can interrupt the cycle. Building more rest into the day, asking for help instead of struggling, and lowering expectations for perfection can also ease the pressure. Ask yourself, do you notice people around you going quiet after you react strongly? Do you often feel regret after snapping at someone? If so, it may be a sign that impatience has taken root more than you realized. Choosing patience not only lowers stress, but also draws others closer, giving you more peace and connection in your later years. Number 6, talking too much about the past. Another behavior that becomes more common with age is the tendency to focus conversations almost entirely on the past. Reminiscing is natural and can be a source of joy, but when older adults spend most of their interactions reliving old memories, it can create distance from the present and make others feel less connected. Researchers in aging psychology note that an unbalanced focus on the past, sometimes signals loneliness, boredom, or even early cognitive decline. Imagine two men, Samuel and Leonard, both in their late 70s. Samuel enjoys sharing stories from his youth, but makes sure to ask his grandchildren about school, listen to his friends' current struggles, and stay involved in what is happening now. His conversations feel fresh and balanced. Leonard, however, repeats the same stories about his military service or his early job days nearly every time people visit. While these memories are meaningful to him, his family begins to tune out, feeling that he no longer engages with their lives or the world around him. This habit can unintentionally push people away when every conversation circles back to "back in my day." Younger generations may lose patience, and even close friends may feel that dialogue has become one-sided. Over time, this constant return to the past can deepen isolation and make the older adult feel even more left behind. The hopeful truth is that memories are best enjoyed when balanced with curiosity about the present. Asking loved ones about their experiences, showing interest in new events, and trying to connect past lessons with today's challenges can make storytelling valuable rather than repetitive. It is not about giving up cherished memories, but about weaving them into a living conversation that bridges past and present. Ask yourself, do people around you seem to drift away or change a subject when you start telling another old story? Have you noticed repeating the same tale more often than you realize? If so, it might be time to bring more balance into your conversations. Sharing your past is powerful, but engaging with the present keeps you truly connected and respected. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 6 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Number 7. Neglecting posture and body language. One behavior that many seniors overlook is the gradual neglect of posture and body language. Standing tall and moving with purpose does more than affect appearance. It sends signals about confidence, vitality, and even overall health. Studies have shown that slouched shoulders, shuffling steps, or closed-off gestures are not just signs of aging. They can reflect weakening muscles, reduced circulation, and declining energy. When posture changes, others may see you as frail even before you feel that way yourself. Consider two women, Carol and Janet, both in their early 80s. Carol practices light stretching every morning, walks with her head up, and keeps her shoulders back. She looks steady and capable, and people respond to her with respect. Janet, however, has fallen into the habit of shuffling with her head down, shoulders rounded, and arms crossed tightly. She does not notice how her body language makes her appear tired and withdrawn, but family and neighbors treat her differently, often offering unnecessary help or avoiding long conversations. This silent change can affect more than social interaction. Poor posture puts pressure on the spine, weakens balance, and even interferes with breathing. Over time, it can make walking harder, raise the risk of falls, and contribute to feelings of fatigue. Body language also impacts mood. Research shows that standing tall can improve confidence, while slouching reinforces negative emotions. The encouraging news is that posture can be retrained. Simple daily practices like standing to gestures, such as making eye contact and keeping arms open instead of folded, can also shift how others see and respond to you. Ask yourself, do you find yourself looking down more often than looking up? Do people comment on your slow or shuffling walk? If so, it may be a sign that posture and body language need more attention. Carrying yourself with strength is not just about how you look. It is about how you live and how much independence and confidence you preserve in your later years. Number 8. Financial stubbornness. Another behavior that tends to grow stronger with age is financial stubbornness. Many seniors become set in their ways about money, refusing to adapt their saving, spending, or gifting habits, even when circumstances around them change. This often comes from a lifetime of discipline and pride in managing finances, but when flexibility is lost, it can create conflict with family and even harm long-term security. Economists and gerontologists note that older adults who resist financial adjustments may overlook opportunities for stability or fail to protect themselves from risk. Think about two men, Henry and Albert, both in their mid-70s. Henry reviews his budget regularly, talks openly with his daughter about medical costs, and accepts advice about safer investments. He maintains control but adapts wisely to new realities. Albert, however, insists on handling everything the same way he did decades ago. He refuses to consider updated financial tools, dismisses his son's concerns about rising expenses, and gives away money impulsively to relatives despite his own health needs. Albert believes he is being strong and independent, but in truth, his rigid habits place him at greater risk. Dismissing advice without truly taking the time to reflect on it. If so, that may be an early warning sign that financial stubbornness has taken root. Many older adults believe that clinging to long-held habits or resisting change equals independence. In reality, real independence is not about refusing new ideas or ignoring advice. It's about adapting wisely to shifting circumstances so you can continue to live with strength, dignity, respect, and security through every season of life. Flexibility is the key to remaining in control, while rigidity often leads to unnecessary stress and vulnerability. Number 9. Withdrawing from social connections. Among the most damaging behavioral shifts that can quietly creep in with age is the slow retreat from social connections. It rarely happens all at once. At first, it may seem harmless to skip a gathering, decline an invitation, or spend more evenings at home. But what starts as an occasional preference for solitude can, over time, grow into deep and persistent isolation. And this isolation is not simply a matter of feeling lonely. It carries serious risks for both body and mind. Research consistently shows that older adults who feel socially isolated face dramatically higher risks of depression, memory decline, heart disease, and even early death. Loneliness isn't just emotional pain, it has measurable physical consequences, weakening resilience and undermining overall health. Staying socially connected is not optional. It is essential for living not only longer, but also better. Consider two women, Elaine and Marjorie, both in their late 70s. Elaine makes a consistent effort to stay engaged. She calls her friends every week, attends a local community group, and regularly enjoys dinner with her children and grandchildren. Even when life gets busy, she finds small but meaningful ways to maintain those bonds. Marjorie, however, slowly drifts into isolation. She stops returning phone calls, declines invitations with the excuse that everyone is too busy, and convinces herself that her presence isn't needed. Over time, her world grows smaller. Months pass, her mood darkens, her energy wanes, and what began as a harmless preference for quiet has silently transformed into harmful isolation, eroding both her happiness and her health. This withdrawal often happens without clear awareness. Health challenges, mobility limitations, hearing loss, or the passing of close friends can make socializing feel more difficult. The easiest path can seem like retreating inward, but the price of retreat is steep. Without meaningful interaction, the mind becomes less sharp, stress levels climb, and the joy of shared laughter and connection fades away. Even family members who want to help may feel shut out as bridges weaken when an older adult stops reaching back. The hopeful truth is that rebuilding connection doesn't require dramatic changes. It begins with small intentional steps, a quick phone call, sending a short message, inviting a neighbor for tea, or joining a group centered around a favorite hobby or interest. These small actions, repeated regularly, create warmth and belonging. Human beings thrive on connection at every stage of life, and in later years, those bonds become even more critical. often determining not just the quality, but the length of life. So pause and ask yourself, have you noticed that you say no more often than yes to invitations? Do days sometimes pass without a single meaningful conversation? If so, it may be time to take one small step back toward connection. Remember, the relationships you nurture today are not just sources of joy, they are lifelines that add years of vitality, dignity, and fulfillment to your life. Final thoughts. Now that you've discovered these 9 ugly behaviors that often emerge with age, take a moment to reflect honestly. Have you noticed yourself slipping into patterns, perhaps neglecting personal hygiene, frequently interrupting others, or focusing more on complaints than gratitude? Do you find yourself resisting change, losing patience too quickly, or dwelling too much on past stories instead of engaging with the present? Are you letting your posture weaken, holding too tightly to outdated financial habits, or slowly withdrawing from the people who matter most? These are not simply harmless quirks. They are signals of how gracefully or how rigidly you are moving through the later chapters of life. The encouraging news is that none of these behaviors are permanent. Every single one can be improved with awareness and small, steady changes. You can create routines to keep up with hygiene, learn to pause before speaking, and shift complaints into expressions of gratitude. You can embrace change with curiosity, build patience through breathing and rest, and balance stories of the past with a genuine interest in today. You can strengthen your posture, adjust your money habits with wisdom, and most importantly, rebuild connections with loved ones in simple but powerful ways. The journey is not about perfection, it is about awareness. Awareness gives you the power to choose differently, and with that choice comes the opportunity to remain vibrant, respected, and deeply connected at any age. Thank you for spending time with us today. We'd love to hear from you. What was one insight that resonated with you most? And how do you plan to use it in your life? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your experiences not only encourage us, but also inspire others in this community. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and share it with friends or family. Your support allows us to continue creating content that informs, empowers, and inspires. Until next time, stay strong, stay connected, and continue embracing each day with awareness and grace.